Hi everyone, I'm Verity Babbs and welcome to my channel where I talk to my friends about art. Today I was so excited to talk to my friend Megan, who is the Megan Edit over on Instagram, and she's a body positivity influencer. It's worth noting that Megan and I are both size 16, cis, white, able-bodied women, so this video definitely does not encompass the whole of the body positivity movement conversation. It's also worth noting that because of the nature of art history as a practice, which is written by white men about white men, that there are large gaps where female artists are underrepresented, especially female artists of colour and black female artists and disabled female artists. In the middle of filming, we had a power cut, which means that the rest of the film is done on my phone. I hope it is still worth your time to watch and that you enjoy it. I'm here today with Megan Laffer. I'm so excited. Megan, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. So I'm Megan. I am over on Instagram on the Megan Edit, and I do all things lifestyle, body posy, body confidence, and yeah, I'm just enjoying life really and posting as it goes.
This is going to be a sort of body positivity episode, which is going to be brilliant. So we're going to basically, I've gone through and done a bit of research to find what are some key examples of plus size women in art history. And something I learned from your feed recently is this idea of plus size. There's a thing called middle size, which makes so much more sense, because actually, like, if you're a woman who is between a 14 and 18, saying you're plus size isn't actually necessarily helpful to people who are above a size 20, because there isn't that same experience, right?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing I learned recently, most recently, is the Black fat women movement, and they created body positivity for their marginalized bodies. So when I discovered that, I was literally like, oh my God. And I did so much research on it, and it's just so fascinating. And I think now to kind of go, you know what, I'm here, I'm a mid-sized kind of gal, and to literally just fully embrace that, and just, I think it's just about accepting where everyone is and just being completely on one sort of line with it all, which is great.
So we went to school together, and it was years ago. Oh my God.
Years ago. I feel so old.
And I feel like both of us are sort of designed to be a sort of 14, 16 kind of gig.
Yeah.
And I feel that we both had this sort of understanding of each other in school, that we were both pretending like that wasn't the case.
Yes,
and we were desperate for that not to be the case.
Completely agree.
Would you mind telling me a bit about your sort of journey to body positivity in the last year or so?
Yeah, definitely. I do musical theatre, and I think that's basically where it stems from, really. And growing up, I was just never... I never felt like I fitted in, amongst the people that I was with. I never felt like I fitted in. And even at school, and that's just your regular day-to-day sort of lifestyle, I never felt like I was the same as all the other bodies that was there, bar maybe one or two. And especially doing musical theatre, growing up, I was so I have to be smaller, I have to be fit and healthy, and I have to look a certain way to be a certain thing. And growing up now, and actually going to drama school, and realising literally in the last year and a half, I've turned around and gone, no, they'll accept me for who I am, and if they don't, that's their loss. I'm becoming the woman I'm becoming, and I'm just life's too short. Your body is your home for the rest of your life. I've battled with it for years, and now I'm fully you know what, I'm content, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I've got nothing really to moan about with it.
Hitting home the fact that the average UK woman is a size 16.
Yeah.
View that as against the normal.
Yes.
It's so counterintuitive.
Completely. I always find with us being at school, now being a 22-year-old woman, I'm I feel comfortable in my body and the people I'm around. And do you know what my mum always said to me? When you grow up, you're going to be fine. And I never ever believed her. And actually going to uni and being surrounded by the most incredible people, and meeting all these people in the big city of London, you actually go, you know what, why on earth was I battling with myself for all those years when really I'm okay, I'm actually fine.
I think when a lot of people think about drama school, involves singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Imagine, you know, very petite sort of ballerinas.
Yeah.
Was that something that sort of worked towards your body positivity, or something that you were sort of fighting against?
Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think it's a mixture of both. Because I think growing up, I was like more like fighting with it being like, you know what, I'm going to change myself to be the ideal musical theatre performer, which I actually did my dissertation on it, and there isn't an ideal, that's what I've come to the conclusion of. But yeah, like growing up, I was just so like, I need to be fit and healthy and flexible, and my body needs to look a certain way so I can be a certain part. And that's literally all I consumed, really. And then going to drama school first year, I still had that. Like, I still had those thoughts, and I was like, oh, like maybe I should like lose a bit of weight, or I don't know, like I was doing things, and then I went, hang on a second, like I'm exercising, I'm eating well, I'm taking all the good things that my body needs, I'm doing all the good things my body needs, and I obviously wasn't losing loads of weight. And then I think I sort of had a moment where I was like, I don't need to, like I really don't need to. And I think it's more of a thing of like, I'm like, my body's my home, my body's looking after me, and it's just that acceptance of it. And like, this is the body that's like walked me on this earth for 22 years. Like, I need to be more kinder to her. So I'm just very much like, it was a challenge, but now I think there's room to break it all down, which is exciting, but we've still got a long way to go.
You'll remember that I grew to my full height at like 11. Yeah. I was basically like all of our friends, but zoomed in. Yeah. I have such a vivid memory. I was about 14. Yeah. Like Topshop or somewhere. I bought this really nice set of like overalls. Yeah. Got home, and I was so upset that it had a size 16 label in it. I unpicked the label and replaced it with a label for a smaller size. No one's ever going to see the inside of this jumpsuit. It's just this constant battle, and I think you can be raised in as feminist a household as you can. Yeah. But if all of the background noise from when you're yay high is about thinness, or about thinness equaling health, equaling beauty, you can't really turn that off. So no,
completely. And I think it's still like a battle every day, that you're just constantly like I find it sometimes, and I'm like, why am I looking at the size of things? Like, why am I looking at the number on the scale? It doesn't matter. Like, it physically doesn't matter. And it's exactly the same. Like, I used to cut labels out. So like, it's like, oh, well, what's the size? What? Who cares? Who cares what size it is?
We've done some research to find some of the curvier women in art history, throughout art history, which has been predominantly made by white blokes. Yeah. The pictures are predominantly of white women. So try to find some diversity in there. But, you know, art history was written by white men about white men. So they had an agenda to fulfill.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why everyone else sort of falls to the side. Well, let's talk about this first. This is called the Venus of Willendorf, ancient sculpture, and it's about 30,000 years BC. Super. Wow. Like during school trips and stuff to museums, we always see these sort of fertility goddesses carrying weight and have big hips for childbearing and this kind of thing. And this is one of the kind of earliest examples of this. And there was a really interesting discovery recently, or a piece, I can't remember who it was by, I'll try and link it up. Yeah. But basically, if you look at this sculpture from above, so like the breasts over the stomach, over the thighs, that's actually the view that women have when they look down. So potentially this was carved by a woman. So right. It wasn't carved thinking about what it looks like from the front. Actually, when you look down, there is your boobs, and then there's your stomach.
Then your thighs. That's fascinating. Mm. I'm actually looking at that now, like, yep. Yeah, that's like, yeah.
And obviously, throughout history, fashions have sort of come and gone for curvier women, thinner women. Obviously, there's like a whole run of centuries where plumper women were suggested to be from wealthier backgrounds where they could eat properly. And there was actually kind of a class issue about sizes, but now obviously it's going to skip way forward. Why don't we pick this Lucian Freud? So Lucian painted this model quite a lot, and they were friends. Yeah. And Lucian often paints women. There's always questions about male artists painting women's bodies and the idea of ownership and this kind of thing.
I get that.
Yeah, but this is of Sue Tilley, and it's called Benefit Supervisor Sleeping. It's from 1995. And one of the things that just strikes me is how unposed this looks.
Completely. Like, that's just like, that makes me feel so relaxed. There's absolutely no cares in the world there. I love it.
And this thing of, I've always found that thing of lying on your side and your stomach falls.
Oh, yeah, falling down. Gravity.
That was one of the biggest things of, why does my body move like that? Because you never see that in films. Her breasts falling to the side.
Yeah, I love that she's holding it as well. I'm like, I just literally sit with my hands like this all the time. I love it. I'm like, I'm supporting.
I, at university, happened to be friends with some very petite women, and we would go shopping together. And sometimes in the shop, if the shop only goes up to a 14 or 16, sometimes nothing in that shop would fit me, and that would just be the case. For them, who were kind of size 8, 10, they knew that if something was too big, they could get the size down. If something was too small, they could get the size up. And it was the first time talking to me, they realised that some people go into shops and there is nothing in that shop that fits you, and you have to go to another shop. And
yeah, my one's Zara. I love everything in Zara. I can probably get their shoes.
like, Kat dislikes bigger women more than it loves money.
Yeah.
It's so my money. I'm offering my money to you, but you just dress my body. A lot of companies, when they buy their sample sizes, it's actually quite expensive to buy a sample size that isn't like a standard size, like a 6 or an 8.
Yeah.
Companies buy their standard size in a 6 or an 8, and when they go to make bigger sizes, they literally just like basically zoom in. So that means a size 16 is just a zoomed in size 6, which is not how human body works.
No, completely.
This is one of my favourite pieces that I discovered during my research. So there's a guy called Fernando Botero, who's become quite famous as this little fat pope has become quite a meme. Also done this really beautiful, I think, sculpture of a woman holding a piece of fruit, and she's on her stomach. And I really, really love this piece. Because some of the other pieces he does, and he speaks about the fact that he's just sort of, this is a form that really interests him. These people, very round faces, like huge heads. But I think this is actually one of his really graceful pieces. Like, it's not making a comedy out of it. I think she's really beautiful.
Yeah, do you know the thing that I love? Like, and this is me trying to like tune into like my inner artist. I love where the light hits all the rolls on the side of her body. I think that is literally me laying on my bed eating chocolate, watching Netflix. I like a full face, like like her legs and her arms, like she is curvy everywhere. Like it's a fully filled piece. I know, that's incredible.
If we go back, there is a period popular. So one of the most famous examples is Rubens, who is sort of known for doing these curvier women. So she's looking in this mirror, and a lot of art historians since then have used this as a sort of metaphor for how society basically berates women for being vain.
Yeah.
At the same time, they all want to look at her. So as soon as, as long as a man is like ogling her, that's fine. And she looks at herself, you call it vanity. This is a really great time to bring us up about the fact that, a lot of these paintings have the only time that black bodies are included in these kinds of works are as background figures or help or sort of servants, and which is absolutely ridiculous. And that's that thing of, if your body positivity or if your feminism doesn't include black bodies, the bodies of POC or trans bodies, it's not really body positivity or feminism. I don't know exactly what I look like from the back, but I'd probably look something like that from the back.
I'd agree, to be fair. Like, I think that's, like, I mean, I've done my neck can't really go that far around, but I'm like, I can kind of see partially. But yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely, I'm really interested in it. I love the metaphor thing. I think that's very clever, because I think that's the same with, like, if you talk of, like, I could compare that in a way to like Instagram, in terms of like what I do on Instagram. People could have the opinion that it's me being vain, taking like body photos of myself, when really, like, I do it, and I think other people do it because it's a form of like, this is me trying to train myself to go, like, this is normal, that this is absolutely fine, like, let's just break down what society's built up, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that thing of, in a society that from the age 0 has taught us to not like our bodies, liking your body and showing it to people is sort of an act of revolution.
Yeah.
In a similar time frame, we've got this piece by Titian, such a classic example of men painting women for their own benefit.
Is he playing an instrument? Yeah.
Yes, playing an organ and having a stare.
Play the organ, like just play the organ.
Yeah, it's all very like euphemistic of I'm playing my organ while looking at this naked body.
Exactly. Definitely.
And there's this nice thing of lots of work of this time has these nice little coded little bits. So this little dog that's jumping up at this woman is often used as a marker for flirtation or friskiness and this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a very sexualized image. We're living in a strange time where there is a sort of acceptable curvy that men will accept. So you can have a big bum.
Yeah, Kardashian body.
Yeah, as long as you've got a tiny face and big boobs, you can have a big bum and thing. But, you know, she's got a tummy, she's got legs, and she's got little boobies. And that man obviously doesn't care that much. No, he's not turned off by that.
No, completely not. He's fully enjoying that. He wants to make music, doesn't he?
Something I think, especially when I was younger, had to get over was this idea of, but what about when someone sees me naked?
Yeah.
What if, you know, eventually when I start having boyfriends, they realise that I am not thin?
Yeah.
And I saw a good tweet, I can't remember who it was by, that said, babe, if he's been dating you for however long, he knows you're fat.
Yeah, you can't hide it. Like, oh my God, you are who you are.
There's this amazing picture by an artist from Latin America called Francisco Zuniga of 4 black women walking down the street. And I think that he does a lot of portrayals of the African population in Latin America, in the sculptures of them as well. And I think, again, the thing that strikes me about these are you don't see pictures of women this size very often, but he's given them such grace. And it's odd that you don't really see plus size women in paintings if they're not naked.
Yeah, and they're clothed.
So there is this almost idea of like a spectacle of like, and she's naked, look, like kind of gawp at her.
Yeah.
And are just women doing their normal lives, getting
on with it.
And they look beautiful.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so fascinating. And they've all got a different like quirk to them. If that I don't know if that's the right word. They've all got a story when I look at that. I'm looking at it from like an actor perspective. I'm like, she could be going off doing this, she could be feeling this.
Yeah. And that's the thing all of these models as well are women who went on and did stuff. So the pre-Raphaelites, who were some painters in the sort of Victorian times. Yeah. Really beautiful models, and everyone goes, what a beautiful woman, and then they stop thinking about it. But these women often were artists themselves who were doing modeling art classes and remembering that the women in paintings are real women doing stuff.
Definitely, completely.
Sarah Briatkova.
Yeah, Sarah Briatkova.
Yeah, gorgeous scene. I like a sort of bathing scene. This is one of the only examples we've given of female nudes painted by a woman. So female artists painting nudes are really hard to find, because up until about the mid 20th century, it was seen as completely inappropriate for a woman to be painting nudes. And obviously women in art history are far and few between, because get written out, or you know, they only produce a small amount of things before they're forced to have loads of children, or all sorts of reasons. So this is really nice to see a painting by a woman, and this is the beginning of the 20th century, and she's a Russian artist, but actually Russia, it's actually a really good time to be a woman. They're very for the equality in communist Russia. It's nice to see so many different bodies all in one go.
Yeah, do you know what, this is sorry to the artist, but I this would have been 10 times more amazing for me if there was like a full range. You know what I mean? Like if it fully like had body number 1 to body number 100. You know what I mean? That would, but I still love it nonetheless. But how it folds and moves, it's incredible. What your body does for you is amazing.
I've been reading about the difference between sort of body positivity and radical self-acceptance, because radical self-acceptance kind of says that it doesn't matter if you're beautiful, we can throw beauty out the window. What you're actually saying is, you don't have to say, I love my arms, they're beautiful. You can go, I love my arms, they work. I love the way that my body allows me to do this. And that radical self-acceptance is potentially helpful for people who society has traditionally deemed not beautiful.
Yeah, completely. I think that's definitely something I tune into in terms of, at the minute, like being a performer, actor, like my body's, like the proportion of me isn't typically what needs to be seen. So I think my sort of take on it was, I was like, well, hang on a second, I can kick my leg up to my head. I can still do that, but just because my leg is 10 times bigger than so-and-so next to me what's the difference?
And it's such a brilliant time, I think, with Instagram.
Yeah.
So many people being given that platform.
I completely agree. Like, I started out I just stumbled across accounts. I don't even know how. To be fair, the first person I came across was Body Posy Panda. I'm literally so thankful. And then, like, I've then discovered so many different accounts of people, and more so now, like, I'm starting to follow, like, more of like a diverse range of people as well, because I want to have a feed where I'm not looking at the same thing all the time, if that makes sense. As bad as people can make it out to be, because yes, it is, and it can be, I think if people use it in the way that we want it to be used, it can be so empowering and so uplifting, and you reach people that you will never ever reach on the normal day-to-day, like Monday to Sunday basis. It's been the best thing to happen to me anyway.
And I think Instagram is quite a good tool for sort of making up for lost time, because the village upbringing that we've both had, and the school we both went to,
the
first 18 years of our life were overwhelmingly Caucasian. Feels like Instagram, and for both of us moving to London and going to, you just have to claw open this very closed worldview that we have for the majority of our childhoods.
Yeah, that is honestly nail on the head. You can actually think about that now, and you're like, well, hang on, I've only really then been doing this since I was about like 18, trying to pull it apart, when I think like you could go back and there was like 12-year-old us going, please can this change? And it just makes you realize that how long of a process it's going to be, but in the end, if there ever will be an end, hopefully, it will just be so worth it. Yeah, it's amazing.
The work is never done. Megan, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
If you just give us like a little shout out about where we can hear from you.
Yeah, so I'm over on Instagram on the Megan Edit, so feel free to jump over onto there and you can see all things you want to see. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that the quality was all right. You can follow Megan in the ways down below, and you can follow me at Verity Babbs Art on Instagram. Please do subscribe and like, etc., and I will see you next time.